Hi everyone, Melissa here from MCB Creations, and today I'd like to talk to you about writing your selection criteria response. Oftentimes you need to provide a resume and perhaps a cover letter, but sometimes you also need to provide a response to some selection criteria. It's up to you on what that looks like, but it is worth noting that you need to have as much space as possible. So if you're doing it in a letter format, you do lose the space at the top and the bottom where you need to add in address details and signatures. I prefer to do a 2-page statement with a very short introduction at the top and then addressing the selection criteria below. What I like to do is use some headings that specify exactly the criteria that I'm responding to, and I also like to use the STAR format of response, which I think I've spoken about in my previous videos. So S stands for situation, T for task, A for action, and R for results. And I go through each of those and provide a really detailed example about how I completed the task that I did and what the results were. It's really important to talk about how you did something. It might seem silly to go into the nitty-gritty details of what you did, step by step, who you spoke to, how you spoke to them, that kind of thing, but it's actually really important. Your panel who are reviewing your application need to know your approach to something, the way that you managed it, and how you ended up with the results. It's easy enough to say, this is what I did, but it's more detailed and a better response to say how you did it, and then your panel members will really understand how you approached the work and how you were able to achieve the results that you did. One of the most important things to consider when you're reviewing and completing your selection criteria response is the words that are used in your application, and I've definitely spoken about this before. You will also receive another video in the coming weeks that talks specifically about how to utilize the best words. However, in your response to your selection criteria, it's really important to try to use as many of the words as possible that are used in your application under those headings for your selection criteria. Another consideration would be to have a look at the company website and have a look and see what they're asking from their staff. Oftentimes companies have a section that might say about us or work for us, and it has details of the culture, the vision, perhaps a mission, and sometimes a strategy. It's really important to base your answer around that. So as an example, if you were applying for something in aged care and it said that you needed to have a client-centered or a person-centered approach, you need to mention those words in your criteria and really explain how you used a person-centered approach in one of the selection criterias that spells out how you might have cared for someone. That's just a brief example. I'm sure there are different ones for each industry. So those are my tips today on responding to your selection criteria. I'm happy to do a more detailed review of how to respond to selection criteria, and we'll certainly be doing one that talks more about how you match up your criteria with the level that you're going for, because depending on what type of job you're going for depends on the type of language that you need to use. So please comment down below if there's anything specifically you'd like to know about, and I'll either reply via comment or create a video just for you. Talk to you soon.